Hello, we're beginning Unit 2, Activity 2, and in this particular content, we are looking at psychologists and how they did their research. So let's look at the course home and just make sure that we know what we're doing. When we look at the calendar, we can see that there are both a discussion and an assignment due today, and we can see that here in the calendar as well. So this correlates with this, and we just want to make sure what we're working on. So when we look at this, I can see that we are reading and then we are working on completing these two assignments. So let's get into it and figure out what exactly we're doing. So I'm going to click on Content, Unit 2, Activity 2. All right, so when we look at the content, we have a lot of reading to do today. And so knowing what you're working on is really, really important. Remember, we're going to have a discussion and then we're going to hand in an organizer. Okay, so we're reading through, and this information will get you to this discussion where you can join right here. Remember, you can join in the content. You can look up the discussion in the list. It's called Temperaments. And the other one is in the calendar on the course homepage that you can click on that due date and participate in the discussion. So looking at this, you can participate in that, thinking about your personality and your temperament. So answering some of those questions. Now, here's where we have a lot of reading to do. So we are looking at the idea of how someone's behavior and their personality is determined. And that's the work of psychologists and how it differs between individuals. So here we're reading a lot about personality. There's even this article right here. You can download it so that you can read it as a PDF rather than trying to read it in here. So just know that that's always an option. And so it's sometimes easier to read it out of there than it is within. So reading through, there's some videos, there's some extra links, looking at Sigmund Freud, who's often considered one of the founders of psychology. His theories are a little outdated, and he had lots of students underneath him that also developed theories that we are more widely used today. So it's just talking about how you determine your personality or where that might come from. You may have seen this. It's either called an ink blot test or a Rorschach test. And it's where you take paint and divide a piece of paper in half, and then you ask a person what they see. And so this actually makes me think of a brain. And the two parts of a brain, or even you might see a butterfly, you might see a number of different things. And depending on what you see within this, a psychologist would determine what's going on inside your brain and that unconscious as to what's happening inside your own thoughts and ideas and perceptions. So there's information here with Freud's idea of the id, ego, superego. There's even some interactives here, and including a video just talking about what the ego, superego, and id. And it's often considered this is the individual, the parts of the personality, and that they have their own personality, but you also have somewhat of like an angel and a demon on either side making decisions and feeding into the ego as to how they see situations or how they should act in certain situations. So this is all reading about Freud's theories. Some more looking at defense mechanisms, a little interactive about all of that. And then thinking of somewhat of Freud's theories. It would be good to jot down some notes, some thinking, or to record what your answers were in these. So here's the big one that we're going to get into in terms of the assignment. You're going to be using a organizer. And so in here, it actually opens up as a doc. So either in Word or WordPad on my computer. For a number of you who may not have access to Word or it won't open on your Chromebook, what I have done is I've actually created that on a Google Doc. So I've recreated it. It looks a bit different, but it's the same thing. And that you can actually click on this, and you'll have to make a copy. This will be read only for you. It looks like this for me because I made the document, but you'll have to make a copy so that you can complete this chart. And what it's going to ask you to do is, it's showing you the Cornell research note method taking. And so what you're doing is you're going to be going through each of those, and then you're going to complete that. So you can do this with the psychologist, the first one. And so there's a few things. The theorist, the information that you're looking up, in addition to the information provided in the content, using the CRAP method. If you forget where that is, that's in Unit 1, that you can look back through and look up what the CRAP method is. And I'll link that also in the content for you as well. And so you're going to be going through the content for each of these. Yep. And just going back through. So going through each of them, you'll notice it says submit your work. All three of these are actually linked to the same Dropbox. So you can submit it here as you're going through, or as you go through, here's the next one. And you'll notice that here's Carl Rogers, and there's information on him. What I've done is I've actually put all of them into that one document. So you can submit it anywhere in there, but just that one document will do you for the entire thing. Okay, so ultimately what most people will want to do is either when you complete all of this content, because there's Ivan Pavlov and B.F. Skinner, that's also included. And then there's just some reflections here at the bottom that do not need to be handed in. All of that information is linked to the same, and all of these drop boxes are the same. So just as a reminder, when you complete that organizer, I'm going to go back to it. So when you complete that organizer, you can take that and actually hand that in. When I opened it up, because I have WordPad, which can open it up, I don't have Word on my computer, that it looks like this. So it's somewhat similar. The only thing I didn't include is the rubric, but I'll link that in the content as well so that you can actually just see the rubric there. So what you're doing is you're making sure that you have all the information and that you're including a summary of the information that you recorded from the content. So just to review, when we're going through Unit 2, Activity 2, we're reading through personality, we're participating in a discussion. You have until Friday for both the discussion and the organizer. So all that information is provided right here. You will have a link to the organizer throughout. All the drop boxes are the same. There's that organizer if you can open it up. And again, it's the same organizer and the same Dropbox. All right, I hope that helps. And if you have any questions as you're going through, don't hesitate to reach out.